is a crucifix. He jumped down on his knees and praised God afterwards. So, you know.
Yeah, well, fuck it.
Yeah, they do it all the time. Man, they do it every fight.
I didn't want it to go this way, but it is.
You know who does it too.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the Moment of Truth. For 80-year-old Zeta Flowers, this isn't just a house. It's her home of 26 years. It's where she raised her 4 adopted children and more than 20 foster children, all on her own. Flowers runs a daycare out of her home, but the pandemic decimated her small business. Her rent of nearly $2,000 a month, she says, became unaffordable. Before COVID, had you ever not paid your rent?
Oh, no.
Never.
Not ever. No. I'm a believer in paying for where you stay.
Like many cities across California, Oakland enacted an eviction moratorium during the pandemic, prohibiting landlords from kicking out tenants unable to pay their rent. But after that 3-year-long moratorium ended last July, landlords were allowed to begin demanding up to a year's worth of back rent and evict tenants who didn't pay up. Tenants advocacy groups in San Francisco and Berkeley are also seeing spikes in the number of elderly facing eviction. Nationally, seniors are now the fastest growing age group experiencing homelessness, roughly 140,000 and counting.
How do you tell somebody who's 75, get back in the job market because you need to make $600 more a month, right? It's a lot of these situations are really impossible.
Her nonprofit took on Zeta's case after Zeta got an eviction notice from her landlord demanding she pay nearly $18,000 in owed rent or move out in 3 days. What went through your mind?
What went through my mind, first of all, is they didn't care. To expect me on a short notice to move that fast, like in 3 days.
Advocates say the government is doing next to nothing to protect them. The Alameda County District Attorney's Office wouldn't tell us how many wrongful eviction cases it's prosecuted, if any. And the City Attorney's Office in Oakland has only tried 4 wrongful eviction cases over the past 5 years.
I'm seeing seniors out pushing carts now because they're homeless.
Instead of going to court, Zeta Flowers reached a settlement with her landlord that forgives her owed rent and provides her with moving expenses if she leaves by next month. Zeta now has time to pack. She plans on leaving Oakland in hopes of finding a new place she can afford.
Oh, you didn't know gentrification was real? And you thought that because you were a retiree that them folks would leave you alone and let you go gently into the grave? I talked about this last year, and on a side note, not to sound lecturing, family, but I gotta say this. I know that for a lot of you, perhaps most, it's more engaging for me to talk about pop culture or sports or entertainment, which I despise. Or you prefer that I talk about current events, and while a number of the things that I talk about are certainly worthy, the things that we need to talk about most are things like the infant mortality rate, the maternal mortality rate, and whether Black people are getting evicted from their apartments or even their homes. How it is that we're being economically strangled out of existence. That's far more important. Now, I know these things are not necessarily the sexiest things to talk about. These videos happen to be some of the most pertinent topics in my humble opinion, but they also get the lowest views too. These issues have to do with our survival, about whether or not we're going to stay on this earth. It has to do with our stability. And if Black people, even in a place like this, cannot be interested in survival and stability, that means we're not going to survive. We need to focus on this stuff. Now, a lot of people don't understand why I keep pointing out that Gavin Newsom refused to tackle this issue of the housing crisis when he was mayor of San Francisco, and that the cost of living crisis is actually a cost of housing crisis, and California has been ground zero for this. Well, that's because the political leadership out there made the conscious choice they were going to allow all this stuff to happen. See, for you and me and every other Black person in America, gentrification is a problem. But for the white political leadership, both Democrat and Republican, gentrification is a solution to the Negro problem. See, both red states and blue states practice this, and as we've seen, it's the blue states who have been among the most vicious and the most aggressive at making sure that Black people can simply be moved out from any old place. The red states are trying to catch up to them. This is how both political parties whipsaw us one against the other. California used to be one of the most affordable places to live. That's why it became the most populous state in the nation, because it was affordable to live there. And of course, they had a very strong economy. Not to mention, from a technological standpoint, California seemed to be leading the country. For a good long while, there were all kinds of advantages to going out to California. A lot of black folks, especially those from the southeastern United States, would move out to California. There's a lot of black folks who left the South and went out west. And a disproportionate number of them landed in Los Angeles and San Francisco. The black population of San Francisco was the vital heartbeat of that place. But the white supremacists went ahead and put an end to that. And I'm talking about the white supremacists on the left, your Nancy Pelosi's. See, she's been out there for 50 plus years in California politics, San Francisco politics. And she's been knee deep in ethnically cleansing that place of black people, all the while pretending as if she's so sympathetic to black people. And you got some Negroes like the Congressional Black Talkers who just gobble that stuff up and tell black folks, oh, these are the people who are on our side. No, they're not. California used to be an affordable place to live in. Young people used to be able to get a starter home fairly easily, but I'm talking about decades ago. We're talking about the 1970s. The 70s was the last time you had any sort of upward mobility out there. It's been generations since California has been readily affordable, especially for young people, and since the tech boom, it's gone insane. But those big investment firms like BlackRock buying up entire neighborhoods, they've made a bad problem infinitely worse. But they couldn't have done it without the politicians' active support. Because these politicos were getting huge campaign donations from these real estate investors and these private equity firms, and they intentionally sold the people out. You don't see any of them saying that the cost of mortgages have to come down. None of them taking a campaign promise that they're going to be bringing down all of these sky-high rents. None of them doing that. Young people cannot save up to buy a home because all their income is going simply to keep a roof over their heads. Rent that has become as expensive as mortgages. It's a vicious cycle. Ordinarily, you might say, well, something's got to give, but does it? Look at those third world countries, and you understand that permanently impoverishing the population can become the norm and stay that way. And who is it who catches the brunt of this economic catastrophe? Black people, the ones who are least able to withstand it. Now, for those of you who don't know, Oakland is supposed to be Kamala Harris's old stomping grounds. She was a DA out there. And across the bridge in San Francisco, that's where she became the plaything for low-down Willie Brown. She too did the old song and dance that all the Democrats do about how she's for the people, etc. But this is how she left the black people who she falsely claimed to have served. As San Francisco has become too expensive to live in, you got a lot of non-black San Franciscans who have begun coming to Oakland, and they're opening up their restaurants there, and these old little boutique businesses, why, they've got their own nice little adult playgrounds that they're trying to create over there, and it's working out very well. And don't let the white media headlines fool you. When they sit there talking about dropping rents in Oakland, what they're talking about is the $2,000 that this 80-year-old black grandmother couldn't afford. Well, for non-black residents, that's very easy for them to afford. That's a bargain. Oh my God, only $2,000 compared to San Francisco. That's a steal. See how the difference works depending on who it is that you're talking to. So for these folks coming in from San Francisco, $2,000 a month, which is completely out of reach for most of the black folks in Oakland, as far as they're concerned, this is better. This is the promised land. Oh, Oakland, man, they're just dropping prices like crazy over there. Yeah, in comparison for certain people. See how the white media reports on this? Two different realities. This is what's happening in Oakland, been going on for several years. You see, those non-black transplants from San Francisco, they tried for a while to stay on their side of the Golden Gate Bridge, and they tried to find affordable accommodations in San Francisco County because they couldn't live in the city core anymore. So it's like, we got to go a little bit further out. But as the tech giants, employees, and real estate firms gobbled up all of the housing and raised rents inside the city beyond the stratosphere, people were forced to move further and further out of the city center, and eventually the same savage capitalists who drove them out of the city began to drive them out of the suburbs and eventually even the exurbs. Those largely white San Franciscans found themselves pushed so far away from the places where they actually earned their money at, they were looking and going, well, hell, instead of us moving further and further into San Francisco County and eventually out of it, why don't we just go across the bridge? It's a hop, skip, and a jump to go just across the bridge over there to Oakland. It's a lot more affordable, more convenient. And then that's what they did. They started to displace the black residents there. This is the aggregate result of that. Because a lot of these landowners that are coming in are not actually Oakland residents. A lot of them are transplants from San Francisco. It's class warfare on steroids, and the city leaders are clearly not on the side of the people, definitely not black people. And one more thing. Occasionally I see comments from the Democrat plants and shills in the comments section saying stupid stuff like, "How come you always coming down on the Democrats? Why don't you ever criticize the Republicans?" First of all, I constantly excoriate the Republicans. Your problem is you're so hypersensitive to even the slightest critique of the Democrats because a lot of you are hoping to get jobs from the Democrats. That's what these plants and shills are for. Please don't kid yourself that the people that you see attacking anyone like myself are like, "Why are you attacking the Democrats?" These people are usually lifelong Democratic operatives. These are individuals who think that they're going to carve out some sort of career for themselves as a Democratic Party operative. That's what they're trying to do. And this is what they do online. This is how they earn their bones of the Democratic Party. They bounce around from place to place pushing the party line. Let me tell you something. If you're a person of principle, then it's the principle that comes first. The principle you stand for is supposed to be everything. So when you see that the Democrats aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, you're supposed to call them out on it. That is, if you're a person of principle. And the Democrats are the ones who falsely claim to be the champions of the downtrodden and the disenfranchised. Hey, anybody remember how Biden said the black community's got my back and I've got theirs? Yeah, he's got our backs all right. That's where he puts the knife. Now, that's my perspective when it comes to the political dimension as to how this was inflicted on the black people in Oakland, especially the black elderly. But there's another aspect of this that I would be remiss if I didn't mention. And this is not a matter of victim blaming, but there's a reality here that has to be faced. The black baby boomers in particular were the generation who grew up thinking that the world owed them a living, more or less. They didn't care about legacy. And they left their children and grandchildren to fend for themselves. And then they had the nerve to turn around and talk about how they're elders, and they're supposed to be revered. Now, of course, the woman profiled in this piece, they're showing that she's basically using her home as a daycare center and she adopted numerous children. She would seem to be something of an exception to this rule, but I'm going to get to that in just a moment. What needs to be remembered, though, is most of the people out there in Oakland, especially the black elderly ones who are getting crushed by this eviction tsunami, they're not like this 80-year-old woman who's adopting children left, right, and center and using her home to teach the little kiddies how to read. She's an exception. She ain't the rule. The black baby boomers, by and large, did nothing for anyone, not even themselves. The elderly are the fastest growing demo of homeless people, but then again, that's par for the course. Sounds like someone stomping the gas on social Darwinism is what this looks like. See, too many black baby boomers starting in the 60s, they thought they'd work for the post office or at the plant. And then they coast off of Social Security, and then they just kick back and wait for the Grim Reaper. They would be able to spend their golden years in security and comfort and safety, and they're finding out too late they're not going to have any of that. Now, family, we should take the trifling, self-centered treason of the baby boomers as a cautionary tale for ourselves. We got the millennials, and especially Gen X, who need to be taking notes about how this happened to them, so that we don't fall into the same trap. The baby boomers grew up trying to have it both ways. They wanted to be for black empowerment, but only because they were denied entry to the white sororities that they wanted to get into. They were denied admission to the white Elks Club they wanted into, denied the ability to fraternize with white society, which was what they really wanted. But they ran around popularizing so many of the problems and dysfunctions that we're still wrestling with today. They were the ones who prioritized trying to get themselves a job at the plant or the post office, and of course, some interracial sex. Then they went styling and profiling throughout the 60s, 70s, and even into the 1980s, some of them into the 90s. And then they decided that it was time to kick up their heels as they got into their emeritus years. But of course, white supremacy has no permanent plans where any black people are concerned. So the black folks who thought to themselves that they had a few more years to pay off their mortgage, white supremacy said, we got this little housing crunch that we're going to put on you, this housing crisis, the mortgage crisis of the early aughts. We're getting you the hell up out of here. A lot of people found themselves instantly turned into renters, and even the ones who were able to hold onto their homes, if the mortgage cost didn't get you, those property taxes would. And understand something, the mass disenfranchisement of these elderly homeowners, that's all part of the plan. See, there's another side to all this that also needs to be mentioned. There's a shortage of houses being built. And no matter what the white media or the politicians or the social scientists may tell you, it's not because of a lack of labor. There's tons of people looking for work, especially men looking to work in construction. The decision, however, was made by the real estate investors that they want to make sure that there's never a surplus of houses on the market. They want to keep the housing market tight. Too many houses on the market, and their investment will lose its value. And to exploit and ultimately kick the baby boomers out on the street, that's part of the plan. See, the baby boomers are starting to die out. And the thinking of these real estate types is that as the boomers die out, that's going to free up some of those homes. But before some young people go thinking to themselves, okay, I'll go ahead and buy myself some rickety old shack that some baby boomer left behind when they died, the real estate types have decided, well, maybe you will get that, but it's going to cost you a king's ransom. And as far as new construction goes, well, we want to bring that to a crawl. It's all part of the plan. That's the kind of evil calculation that the real estate developers are doing. So as the baby boomers die or get evicted, this is not going to lead to the building of more housing. They're just going to look and say, well, here's some houses that have come free, assuming that BlackRock or somebody else doesn't buy them, that is. And you guys can go ahead and have triple knockout brawls to see which one of you gets that. And it'll all be selling for a mint. And that's because this is about impoverishing as many people as possible. And the so-called leadership are letting it happen. They're just going to keep lying to the public and falsely claiming that there's just no labor to build homes. Or their favorite lie du jour, it's these city ordinances, it's these zoning commissions. There's not enough areas in these cities that are zoned for single family dwellings. That's the problem. It's a bureaucratic issue, a zoning issue. Never mind the fact that a number of cities already have areas that are clearly immediately zoned for single family dwellings. And then what we hear is, well, it's the cost to go along with environmental surveys. It's just a bureaucratic thing, you see. Even in places where they knock that down, they just go on to one excuse after the next. They're going to be blaming city ordinances, regulations, the man on the moon. It just won't stop. The reality is these real estate people give huge amounts of money to the politicians, and they use it to buy policy. There are no laws or regulations where these guys are concerned because they write the laws. As Black people, we better start learning to stick together. That's the lesson that I hope is taken away from all this. And this includes across generational lines. That crap the boomers did where they threw away the greatest opportunity to secure our futures has now backfired with horrifying results for them. They thought that they would take care of themselves and just tell their children and grandchildren, y'all just need to figure it out on your own. Well, that's what happened. And here they are needing help, and their children and grandchildren are telling them, y'all just need to figure it out on your own. Black people as a group are terribly dysfunctional when it comes to understanding the nature of what we're up against. But the Black boomers in particular have had this love-hate relationship with white supremacy. They hated that they were not allowed to get into the clubs that they wanted into, but they also loved the idea that maybe they could get in one day. They won't ever admit it, but their actions speak far louder than their empty denials. That's a reality the boomers simply refuse to accept. If you haven't done anything to secure the position of your children, then you can't realistically expect them to be in a position to secure your future. If you haven't done the work to make sure your progeny's position is secure, then the chances are excellent that you haven't even bothered to make sure your own position is safe either. And the boomers aren't even looking out for each other or themselves. That's where we get back to this nice little old lady who's getting kicked out of the streets. See, the boomers are supposed to be looking out for each other, at least you would think so. As much as they were willing to close ranks against their own children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, truth be told. You would think that these guys would basically be a mutual admiration society, but they're not. The selfishness was absolutely terminal. And here they are, needing to be able to rely on one another, and they can't. See, there's this fiction the white media likes to push that the elderly somehow have some sort of inside track when it comes to the voting process. Now, while it is true that elderly voters consistently vote more often, it's also true that seniors notoriously only have a limited amount of funds. After all, it's not as if some septuagenarian can suddenly just jump back into the labor force because they find themselves having to cough up a few extra $100 a month for living expenses. When they retire, all they've got is that little old Social Security check, most of them. Or if you're lucky, you got a pension, but that's it. And if that little nest egg of theirs isn't enough, or if white power inevitably decides to pull the rug out from under them, then they're stuck. But because they've been fed this nonstop diet of white media propaganda that the elderly vote is so important, they've convinced themselves that the powers that be wouldn't dare let anything happen to them because their vote is so important. And this is why we constantly hear about the elderly being taken advantage of, left without care or benefits. They drank the Kool-Aid. It seemed sweet enough in the beginning, but it was a poisoned chalice they drank from, and that never ends well. The moral of this story? You can either be realistic about the situation, or you'll find yourself literally out of house and home. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. Frederick Dawkins.
I am the trap god. I am the rap god. I am that nigga that goes so fucking hard in these streets. I let it be known that yes, across the board, as we know how this pyramid is set up for us to fail. You're lost in a sense of security, false hope. You think that you got it going on. As soon as they pull this rug up from under us, you gonna feel the wrath too. Mark my word. Mark my words. Your day gonna come where you gonna get a wake-up call. And it'll be like, see, we as black people, we already used to this shit. But as time goes on, you ain't gonna be able to find a way to keep on running around trying to find more and more ways to collect more and more bills. What you're gonna really find out is that your ass is broke and there's no way to get out of it. You got to look at the word eviction and take it on for what it really is. Your ass is out on the streets. On the streets! With the ones that you've been trying to stay away from. The impoverished. It ain't gonna just be blacks. It's gonna be people of all colors. And this is what it's all about, huh? What do they call that? What they call it? Gentrification? That was an experiment. It ain't gonna hit you until it hits you, I promise you. You're just gonna see a difference. You will see and experience the difference. You chasing your tail, you running on that treadmill. You ain't woke with your third eye. But it's gonna come to you. You said that little black nigga that was riding around that van was talking the realest of the real. One day. Until then, I'm enigmatic. I'm a dilemma. I'm an outcast. I'm strange. I'm detached, delusional. Come on. How many motherfucking words can I utilize to say, not a martyr? I'm everything that's anti, because the only thing that you expect and recognize is how somebody is socially stable in your eyes. When I've already taken a step back and I look into this world and I see majority of the people are full of shit and playing a role. You know, you see somebody like, it's no other way to get around it. You see somebody like Diddy. He didn't just become whom he is. There was reasons behind all of it. And majority of people took a blind eye. Same thing with R. Kelly. Same thing with Epstein. Same thing with all these abusers and pedophiles and these dysfunctional behaviors. They were shown or groomed or something happened to get them to be the way they are, besides just life itself and greed and the pursuit of so-called freedom and happiness. All these dynamics played a part. But around them, people are just as corporable or responsible as they are the ones that were doing it. The ultimate sacrifice is going to be not the judgment of the community, but those who played a role of being dormant and looking the other way while these things happen. If you know that person's not supposed to go down that road and you don't warn them, you're just as guilty as what they experienced down that road if they ever make it back. Because you could have stopped the bleeding before it started. All these Band-Aids for these gashes, you digging at scabs, you messing with things that are going to get out of control. Money can't solve all problems. Death is inevitable. I don't care how much money you have. We're going to leave this planet. All of us are going to leave this planet, no matter what tone I say it in. I can talk low, sensitive. I can talk with the most intellectual capability, or the way in which I spew my words off my tongue, without a lisp, without mumble mouth, whatever you want to fucking call, whatever your ear needs to hear. High, low frequency, I don't care what it is. We could debate about it. You can, when somebody white has to tell you, or your favorite entertainer, or your mama, your daddy, or your brother, or your girlfriend, no matter how the words, this ain't no scare tactics. No matter how you get this across to you, and you finally wake up, this is survival of the fittest, motherfuckers. Y'all better wake up. Stop pissing in the wind, because you will be biting the hand that feeds you. Because that's going to be the only way you survive. These elderly people are becoming homeless. You yourself are on the edge of 2 checks away from becoming homeless. Your mental capacity, the way in which you look, the things that you do, who you associate with, all that shit's not gonna matter when you ain't got no fucking money. Mark my words. And this ain't no joke. I mean, I could get on here and do all that other bullshit, jumping in character all you want. That ain't gonna get me nothing. At the end of the day, a few views. Well, you need reality. That's why they're trying to blind the white young from what the Negro experiences. The black African American, the black human being, the person that built this bitch. They don't want you to know how the pendulum swung the other way and look at the savagery. The way in which Anglo-Saxons came up and what they did, the atrocities. Everybody said, well, you know, that was the past. As long as I got my marijuana and my beer and I'm having sex with whom I want to have sex with, and you stupid and you slow and you're on, because you're in a false insecurity. Most of you motherfuckers don't even come outside. You don't even know what it's like to have a true interaction with a real human being until you get to your front door. Or you meet up somewhere. And it's going to be weird because you ain't used to dealing with the flesh. And it's not going to last because it's not natural. But, you know, I can talk to you till I'm blue in the face. It's not entertainment. It's only, what, 30 minutes? I'm about to get up off of here. Of your entire life. From the beginning of when you were born to the day now. To this is an eye-opener. We talk about our elder states. We talk about the aging population. looking at evictions, not moved into nursing homes. We're not even talking about moving into shelters. We're talking about serious evictions, getting put out, put your shit in storage and get on these fucking streets or go get a job. You're gonna start seeing somebody's grandmama or maybe grandmama's grandmama in the back of a motherfucking Amazon truck throwing boxes that not even a 21-year-old who's in shape but just fat as a motherfucker can't even pick up. And they're gonna be working hand to hand. Somebody's mama that should be home in retirement. How old are you? I'm 72, baby. And that's your reality coming to you soon. This phone is blowing up because there's channels. There's people out here on this fucking earth that wants to talk to me. The trap god. I don't have nothing to talk to y'all about. Y'all got all the answers. You motherfuckers want to cash app me some money? You got my cash app and won't give me shit. So what the hell do you think I want to talk to you for? I don't owe nobody my time unless you gonna pay me for my time. Just like everybody else. Come on now. I ain't no dummy. I'm not fucking with you. You fucking with me. I am your God too. $, I am your God too. I have not got one fucking dollar from nobody. Except a dead man in fucking Michigan. That's the only person who's ever given me money, and I paid him thousands of dollars for nothing but entertainment. And guess what I get? Not a motherfucking thing from nobody. All I get is all eyes on me. Maybe you might need a Wells' check, or some Ken or Karen who wants to say anything about me that's not true. And guess what? I have all the paperwork to let you know. You just need to leave me the fuck alone. Because I'm not bothering you. But y'all better pay attention to what really matters. All them name brands, they don't mean nothing after a while. All of them. You're going to be searching for the generics before y'all start fighting. Then it's civil unrest. Next thing you know, it's going to be some songs, flowers, wet t-shirts, some tears, some funerals, and civil unrest. And one day you might see something you ain't never seen before. And you might even feel it. With America, its military and its authorities, law enforcement, will not be able to protect corporations and commerce no more, which is seemingly its first agenda. And then people. But you're going to see something you ain't never seen before. You're going to start seeing the guns and the machinery and the protection turned against the people. Because all it takes is the ideology. white supremacy ideology to go against the grain and say we give up. It flights. And you gotta fend for yourself. That's a done deal, baby. They're gonna start shooting your ass. Think it's a joke. I'll give it some time. I wish there was a such thing as normalcy. Let's get back to normalcy. What the fuck is that? Let's get back to normalcy. What is that? You think I'm just talking to be talking? Y'all ain't paying attention then. It's a trap god, Captain Kod Testimonies, the angry back, the truth spitter. Whether you understand me or not, I'm just trying to tell you. I'm so glad that it's hard, if you will, to understand what I'm saying. That means you gotta listen a little closer. I don't know the reason why I keep getting hit with these elements out here in this world. Because God maybe don't want me to speak about it. He want me to go ahead and challenge myself to better myself. I'm still fighting against his will and give it to you to open up your fucking ears. And I'm still being held down and suppressed by white Anglo-Saxons over there in Semi Valley. Those moderators that go inside of my fucking video. As soon as I put this video up and it starts making any leeway, guess what they do? Scrub it, break it down, shadow ban it, hide it, and you cannot get the source of my information to share. And they love it that way. But let somebody get on here and put some porn talking about meaningless, stupid ass shit. Oh, that'll get thousands of views. They'll be up in the upper echelons of the search engine and the algorithm, and they all tell you a bunch of fucking lies. I'll holler at y'all later, man. It's a trap god. Kod Testimonies. We in a trap for life. Whoop, whoop. Let me see if I can give you a rap real quick, since that's all y'all give a fuck about. I can't believe this weather is doing this to me. It's the only reason why people come in on here is to hear some black motherfucker rapping. Can you believe that? Huh. Maybe it's me. Maybe I haven't done things right. Keep on hustling till the day I die. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I give it to you and I can tell you why. It's the still number words, I don't lie. I'm making sure I give it to you. I hope you listen up until the truth. Who heard the words that I just spit? I'm coming from a place special shit. Niggas see me travel through the world. Treat me like I ain't even shit. I walked upon the water, but I need to drink the water even more importantly to me. The trucker is a rapper MC. They call me Kod Testimonies. I'm rapping, trapping out here for these streets. You know about me. Ooh! In the deepest secrets of life. I hate the way they try to take my life. They say nothing but you with success milestones. Ask me the trap guy. Why? Man, they was got the wrong motherfucker, man. I ain't never did nothing to nobody, man. I keep giving you this southern mentality, this southern slang with this southern twist of this tongue. I'm out here day and day and try to hum. They hate because they can't relate until it's up in their face. And here I go, I'm getting in the place. Jumping something for the stage, and you know I ain't doing this me. The trap guy, the rap guy, K.O.D. motherfucking testimonies. You about this life. Woo, woo, woo. I've been about this life. And they're looking for me in the trap. The bird flies up from the sky. I clap my hands so many times. Now I'm on this shit. For the summer with this bitch, yeah. I'm the trap guy, the rap guy, simply the best in this rapping that shit. Come on, the microphone controller. I'm out here in these streets. KOD, ladies and gentlemen. I see them follow me everywhere around. But they won't give me nothing. For the voice of reason. They act like I'm trees. Anyways, man, I'm overdoing it, bro. That was struggle rap right there. I ain't gonna lie, I'm up on the fucked up conditions right now. I'm trying to get y'all a little something though. Entertain you.
Money.com is the ideal platform for
Trying to
any
entertain
organization that is looking to.
Let's get it. I'll give you one more and I'll come up off here, man. Yeah. Can I get it right and wrong, the left to the right, and then I do the same and day and night, and tripping like a motherfucker, coming with the realest one. I don't know what the hell do I do, son. I ain't doing nothing but just trying to find a way to just think there's money every single day. I'm just trying to get it up and let the motherfucker know that I ain't gonna stop this shit no fucking way, though. I'm feeling every page that I go to, stage that I go to, niggas just trying to be like me, the rap guy. Of course I'm the trap guy, cause my chain hanging low and it give me what I need, and a chain like this when they know that they need it. They don't really want to stop it, thing far out. They wanna do it lock us up and trap us. Can I feel that freedom? Can I be like you too? Wanna be like me? Come on, because we are only strong as our weakest link. And can you think we pass nothing but the sex that you want, man? Only thing you know is, can you bow to your knees and give it to the God Almighty? I'm in a trap. Can you let me go? We got another one to go. Yeah, I'm running 100 miles and you don't even know. Yeah, I'm jumping gates and I'm running for my freedom. I still got a mile to go when I'm running. Damn, they trying to take me out every single day, man. Gun friend. Hell no, here I go. Hail Mary, want me to wrap this, strap this shit up. I'm the best on the microphone. Once again, it's on there doing my thing. Microphone controller. That's just me, the trap guy, rap guy. I'm KOD, check it. On! Man, y'all motherfuckers hate me for real, though. You just sitting here listening to me, and I know you're thinking about. I know what you're thinking about. You can do it better than me, but you ain't doing shit. I like me, the trap guy. Woo, woo, woo. I'm in the streets for life. Y'all, I'ma holler at y'all. Peace.